Hi everybody, it's April Lee Priest here. Today we're going to talk about motivation to exercise. And if you want credits for today, just make sure that you watch the video in total, write a comment with your name, and when they check it, they'll remove your name. So today we're talking about motivation to exercise. So if we've found it hard to make exercise a habit, we're going to talk today about how to sort of find the motivation. It's like a real fuel, and it's what helps us get the things we want. So sometimes we have to sort of address what it is that we want before we can even find the motivation, and we're going to talk about that. But more important than like psyching yourself up to work out, if that is what we think we have to do in order to exercise, we'll always fail. What we need to do is sort of find the motivation to keep exercise a daily habit. So we'll talk a little bit about habit formation, about how consistency is really key, developing that discipline, right? This isn't about finding the motivation for one workout. This is finding the motivation maybe for one workout here and there, but to have physical activity and exercise be a part of your daily life. So from there, we're going to go into number one. Think about what you want to achieve, right? So you have to have goals. So what are the reasons for you to work out? I could give you a million. It makes you feel good. It helps keep weight off. It helps your metabolism. It helps protect your brain from Alzheimer's and dementia. It helps keep you mentally focused. It helps you be more creative. It helps your heart health. It helps you have bathroom bowel movements. It helps with anything that could be affecting you health-wise. It helps you sleep better at night. There are a million reasons why. It'll help you stay healthy to play with your kids and your grandkids, be able to do the things you want to do, maybe hike up a mountain or just walk by the beach. It makes everything in your life easier. So find what really are your goals and why do you want to achieve those goals. And that's the crux of your motivation. So the idea of exercising doesn't really just appear to anyone. There are usually more than one factor that lead you to want to exercise. I kind of just rattled off a bunch. These factors are your main motivation, right? So you could just feel better, sleep better, gain muscle, gain flexibility, gain coordination, just to feel more stable, maybe to help like burn off some stress. Whatever those reasons are, though, that is your motivation. So we can't always rely on external factors, right? We can't always rely on just being psyched up and having an awesome playlist. So these are your sort of intrinsic motivation. For instance, if your motivation was something like you're going to a high school reunion and you want to look better than everyone, that's not great motivation because that's not long lasting, and it's also, well, it's a little bit shallow, but it's not really going to get you to stay consistent and keep doing this forever. Research shows that when we have like a cash reward for like maybe a weight loss contest in an office, that's really good motivation to get them to the end date of that competition, but it's not good lifelong goals, right? We find that people adopt better habits when they address these intrinsic, so things that come from within, like that you want to feel better, things that change maybe a little bit who you are. That is really what makes you healthy in the long run, not like wanting to look better than your ex's new girlfriend or something. That's not a great reason why. So secondly, you want, when it comes to goals, let me change my page here. We once we kind of know what these things are, like, maybe if it's, for me, maybe it's wanting to keep up with my kids, right? So now I have, my oldest is 19 and she's really getting in shape, and I don't want to miss out on doing things with her. So maybe I still want to be able to go on long bike rides with her. I put a picture of her and me on the fridge on our last mountain bike trip, and I have that to motivate me. That's what I want to keep doing. So that's kind of the idea. You want to then remind yourself, wherever you are, of the reasons why you want to stay active. Now, I know I'm totally different from most people, and I'm sorry, I apologize if it sounds annoying, because I just love exercising, and I know everybody doesn't love exercising. That's why we're talking about this. So if, maybe you don't want to go on a mountain bike trip, but maybe you have little kids or grandkids, and maybe you want to be able to go out and just play ball with them. Maybe you want to be able to keep up with them when they're running around on the beach, stuff like that. So it's got to work for you and be your intrinsic motivation. But then again, remind yourself of that stuff. So you can make a list and stick it somewhere you'll see, like maybe at your computer at work. And now, even though I love exercising, I also have a habit of like really just getting into whatever work I'm doing. And I could sit at my computer for 8 straight hours and never move and never get that physical activity and never even eat if like I'm so focused on my work. That is bad news for everybody. So sometimes having a little, notification there that like get up and move around or get up and do some stretches is really nice to have as well. So just find kind of those things that you need to be reminded of, and then find unique ways to remind yourself. So you could put it on your fridge, like maybe if you're also like me and you like to graze out of your refrigerator in the middle of the night, then it might be a nice reminder of like, I shouldn't go in there and do that. I've had enough to eat today. Another thing you can do is choose role models. This tends to work really well for a lot of people. So people who are recognized for what you want to achieve. So maybe you have a friend or somebody who just like maybe picked up tennis and plays every day or something like that. But you want to think about those people, you want to, forge your relationships with them, or just kind of enjoy their successes, and it sort of helps to motivate us too. There's a big research, excuse me, my allergies. There's a big research article I read recently about how social media, and social media is not my favorite thing, but how it affected people's sort of weight loss goals and their ability to stick to a plan. And when people see other people having success at weight loss, it actually makes them feel good and it motivates them to do better. So, maybe like if you like Reddit, there's a lot of great subs. Like there's 1500 is plenty, and so that's one where people go on and they will share everything they ate in a day and how it adds up to about 1500 calories. They'll show you all the great things. They'll show you their before and afters. And it's just exciting. There's also, all your friends on Facebook and Instagram, all that stuff. So you can go ahead and use that to sort of help you achieve your goals. Basically, the idea is you want to just sort of surround yourself with this intrinsic motivation to exercise, your decision to exercise. Next, while we're talking about goals, we're going to talk about maybe picking a cause. Sometimes this is really helpful because it's something maybe bigger than you. Maybe you want to sign up for Ride for Roswell and try to ride your bike, 20 or 30 or however many miles. Maybe you want to join CrossFit and do something for charity, or maybe you want to just do a 5K. I think there are probably more 5Ks for charity in Western New York than anywhere else in this country. And it's a great way to sort of keep yourself motivated. It means you have to keep training because you're going to go out and try to go 3 miles as fast as you can. And then, hang out with some really cool people afterwards. So what this sort of goal visualizing your goals does is we have this little picture here, and I just kind of want to address it. We've got our vision, and that's kind of what we're talking about now. Our vision is maybe us healthy into old age. Maybe we want to lose a little bit of weight. Maybe we want to gain a little bit of muscle. Whatever your reason is, who cares? We'll then give you your goals. So vision, goals, and then after that, we start to develop habits. Once we know what our goals are, you could use SMART goals, things like that to build a habit. So pick a cause. That's another good way to do it. There's cystic fibrosis, Alzheimer's. We have Roswell's a really big one. There's St. Jude is a really wonderful cancer research place, and a lot of times you can maybe sign up for one of their races and people will donate in your name, just like Roswell. So a lot of times it's very motivating to do something good for someone else, and then maybe it doesn't feel so selfish to take that time on ourselves, which it never should, by the way. We need to fill up our own cups. So from there, we're going to just talk about things that come up that might prevent you from exercising. So always have a backup. So let's say, maybe you planned on doing a morning workout at the gym. Maybe for whatever reason there was a snowstorm and you couldn't get there. YouTube is a great way to sort of supplement those days that you can't maybe get to your favorite class, or maybe you can't get outside and run or something like that. It's a great way to sort of find exercise. I'll talk a little bit about some of the stuff that I found on YouTube that I really like. It's free. Sometimes people might ask you for money and you can give it to them if you want. I always give them a little bit because I'm so thankful for them putting their stuff up for free. I know how much work it is on YouTube. I would give them a couple bucks. But it's free and it's there and you can try it out, and if you don't like it, there's always another video you can try. Other things you can do are maybe put a gym bag in your car. Maybe something will come up and you get to just hit the gym right on your way home from work and just keep it there. Or, maybe you'll get a long lunch and you can go for a walk. Just keep some sneakers at your office. Things like that. Just have an alternate workout ready, or an alternate way to exercise. My students think I'm super weird. I keep resistance bands and little 5-pound dumbbells in my office because, like I said, I could over-focus and get lost in work. So they'll come in and I'll be doing band pull-aparts or bicep curls or something just to keep myself from hunching over and shriveling up throughout the day. So I always have a backup. That's really helpful when you want to stay motivated. If you really think that you just don't have time, I come across a lot of people who say this. I just don't have time to work out. And for women, it is harder because, we have to have our hair, it's not cool to show up to work with your hair wet and no makeup on, just coming out of the shower from your workout. I used to do that and I was alerted that that's not professional. So it is a lot harder for women because we have a lot more hair usually, and we have a lot more stuff to do to our faces to make us professional. So if you feel like you just don't have the time, you could always just follow the 3x10 rule. And there always are days where it's just too packed and we don't have time. The 3x10 rule means you just try to find 10 minutes where you could do something. So maybe you have, a treadmill in your office building, if it's wintertime, or maybe you could just go up and down the stairs for 10 minutes. Maybe you just walk around your block for 10 minutes. You come back inside, maybe you just do planks, maybe some push-ups, maybe some desk exercises like I do for 10 minutes. And then, maybe again after lunch and maybe again after dinner. But that's the idea, 3 sets of 10 throughout the day and you've got your exercise in. So that's just one solution for a lot of the problems that, the factors that people say keep them from being able to make exercise a habit. So that was dealing with goals. We're going to talk about another thing that sort of will help to develop motivation to have habitual exercise. So be positive and surround yourself with positive people. So this is, you'll see this in any motivation to exercise lecture. And I think it's so hard to tell people just be positive. It's kind of silly because we can't always be positive. But we can control how much attention we give to people who are not positive with us about our goals, okay? So I do think it's important for us to remain optimistic about continuing to exercise, because even if we don't have the results that we really hope for. And so I'm gonna circle back and just talk about that. I have never met anybody in my life, not even a supermodel, who's like thrilled with how they look. Everybody's like, I just want to get rid of this here. This is not what I want. I mean, you can meet the skinniest, fastest person in the world, and there's going to be something they want to change about their bodies. So we have to accept that we're very critical of ourselves to begin with, and just kind of know that. Okay? We do not have to accept the fact that other people want to be critical of our desire to be more healthy. So I say avoid the Debbie Downers, okay? What you can do to maintain positivity about your exercise is to do things like make a playlist. I will talk about this at the end, but I really like to make it like the best experience that I can. So I buy those like Downy, super awesome smelling scent things, and I only wash like my workout clothes in them. And I buy myself really cool looking like running shoes if I want to run. I try to really reward myself with, you know, stuff that makes me feel good when I'm exercising. And that makes me really want to do it. You know, I smell great, you know, I look good, and, you know, I've got these new shoes. It really makes the whole experience kind of awesome. And then in my spare time, you know, I might ask other people, what are you listening to? I might check out new music and throw it in a workout playlist. And that usually feels really good too. So that is one way to kind of stay positive about your exercise. Then, like I said, not everybody sort of has the results that they expect. In fact, nobody really does. Nobody thinks that they look perfect. So we'll throw that aside. But when you have these little criticisms about yourself, always look for the upside. Like, maybe I didn't lose the 30 pounds I wanted to lose, but I have more stamina, I feel better, I sleep better, maybe I make better food choices, I drink more water. You know, you're healthier in many, many other ways. So try to maintain positivity that way. Lastly, stay away from those Debbie Downers. If people cannot be supportive of your efforts, just avoid them. And if you can't avoid them, like sometimes you can't avoid, maybe it's people in your family. You can't avoid them, but you can avoid talking about things like this with them. You know, you just kind of politely remove yourself if they're asking you about stuff like that. I know somebody in my family was, when I got pregnant, they were like, well, I guess you're never running another marathon again. And it was so rude and mean. And I have run another marathon since then, so take that. But yeah, you don't have to deal with that. And that attitude will only sidetrack you from wanting to stay on your path. So from there, we'll talk about preparing a reward. So giving yourself a reward can motivate you not to miss training. You can set rewards that don't take away from your goal, meaning like if your goal is to have a fit body, you don't want to necessarily reward yourself. Like lots of people in my family do this with like, I don't know, like an ice cream sundae. Like, oh, I walked today, I can have an ice cream sundae. It doesn't work that way. You can reward yourself with like, you know, new outfits. You can reward yourself with like going to see a great movie or having, you know, just some nice little treat for yourself. But I wouldn't reward myself with like 6 beers after a 5K. That's not a good reward. With the dance party, yes. Half a pizza, no. So, but the idea, I hope you get it, is that you want to give yourself something nice for staying on track. And I like to do it with like just things that reinforce my exercise habits. From there, we're going to talk about other ways to enjoy or to form this exercise habit. The most important thing, this should probably be number one, is you have to enjoy the exercise that you choose, right? I do think it's great to explore and try new stuff, and YouTube's great for that. There's like a 25-minute video for anything. If you want to try bar or Tai Chi, you could always do that. You could, do it at home in your bedroom with nobody watching you if you want. But that's one way to find out the things that you might like, and then you could go to some nice, great local studio and take longer, harder classes if you want. But if you don't like it and you don't enjoy it, there's no motivation that you're gonna find to keep going to do that. Also, there's some classes that maybe just aren't for you. Maybe you don't need to be doing super intense Ninja Warrior stuff. Maybe you could just hike or do Zumba. Everything is acceptable when it comes to your physical fitness. You just need to pick something that you really enjoy. Hopefully then it's one of the things that you look forward to and not something that you feel like you have to check off a box, right? It's not like doing your grocery shopping. This is your me time. You have to make it your me time and, choose the exercises that you really enjoy. Another thing I mentioned earlier is using social media. This doesn't mean that you have to take selfies and stuff like that. Doesn't mean that you have to check in every day and tell everybody exactly what you did. I mean, if you want to, that's awesome. Go right ahead. A lot of I have a Garmin watch and I have a Fitbit watch, and they come with their own platform for social media. So does Strava, if you just wanted to use your phone to track your steps and stuff. And it shows every little bit of exercise you do every day, and you can make friends on it and talk to each other about your exercise, and that's really cool. I think MyFitnessPal will do the same thing. So those are some nice ways, but if you wanted to use your Instagram, your Facebook, you could do that as well. And as I mentioned before, that there's research that actually shows that this is very motivating for people in it, which is really interesting because sometimes people do not like to see other people do well, but for some reason, when it comes to weight loss and exercise, people genuinely seem, through social psychology research, to always be uplifted by that and motivated by that. So I think that's really cool. Now, some strategies for staying motivated to exercise could be to just plan that exercise right into your day so that you can't skip it. It's in your calendar, it's something you're gonna do, your bag's packed, you get up in the morning and you just do it. Decide what kind of workout you're gonna do, where you're gonna do it. Spend 10 minutes planning the activity for the rest of the week, put it in your calendar, and then you just do it. It's just part of your day. Some people will hire a trainer just so that they know that they're gonna get that exercise in. Or they'll sign up for a class and pay for it in advance so that they know that if they don't show up, that their money's going down the tubes. And those are fine ways to make sure that you get there and to stay motivated. Other things you could do to stay motivated, and I do this all the time, is I'll watch TV while I work out. Sometimes I go all the way to the gym to do that. I'll go up on the exercise bike or on a treadmill or an elliptical machine. I just watch TV and it makes the time go by, and I'm killing two birds with one stone. I'm kind of letting my mind relax. I'm watching Star Trek, and I'm on the treadmill, maybe walking up some hills. Other things you could do is if you're at home and you don't have a treadmill or a bike or anything like that at home, you could just stretch during the commercials. You could get down on the floor, do some stretches, do some planks, some crunches and things like that. And it might not be super intense, but it's better than just sitting on the couch. So that's another way to sort of keep motivated about exercising, is just know that you can kill two birds with one stone. If you like to read the paper in the morning, maybe you get on a treadmill and read the paper, or you get down on the floor and you start stretching while you read the paper. It's actually really relaxing. I do that a lot too. We talked about choosing a cause. You could also, just pick a race. Don't necessarily have to have a cause. Maybe you want to give yourself a great vacation and do like a 5K at Disney, or like a rock and roll half marathon or something like that. So when you sign up for something like that, you have to train for it. You don't want to show up and like murder yourself trying to make it through, however many miles. So picking a destination event is often really cool. I know a lot of people who do that, and they make really great memories, but they also keep you active, and it's sort of a nice routine to have. Like, I have a friend who's been all over the world, doing races, and she's not like some phenomenal athlete. She just, she'll walk and jog or do whatever it takes to finish. That's not always a long race. But she's been everywhere. She travels and she makes it a part of her life, which is really cool. So another thing we can do is, maybe just try a class, try a trainer, or get a partner, or get a little group of people who exercise with you. A lot of times, trainers can be pretty expensive, so maybe if you have a group of 2 or 3 friends, I know a lot of trainers who just drive to somebody's house and will maybe like work out with you in the backyard or something like that. There's a lot of boot camp style training going on right now like that. Or maybe the 3 or 4, however many of you, put something together at your church, and maybe you do some kind of a group walk or something like that. But just find a way so that you hold each other accountable. So that means that you've got it in the schedule because you're all meeting each other, and that somebody's going to be waiting for you if you don't show up, and that's not cool. And you get to help each other along. You have a friend to talk to while you're doing this stuff. You have a friend to talk to about how great or how horrible it was that, on the next day. So that makes it really nice. You're going through that together. There are also like challenges, and the internet is just full of them. And so maybe you want to do one at your office. There are all kinds of challenges. Like there's like a plank challenge, there's a squat challenge, there's a 2-minute push-up challenge. But a lot of times they give you like a month's worth of activities that you have to do, and you do it. So that's one way to stay motivated. I know people who wanted to just be able to do like one pull-up, and there's this challenge that gives you all these exercises that you do every day, and by the end of the month you could do one pull-up. So there's stuff like that out there. You just have to find what you want. Excuse me. My allergies are terrible. So you find the challenge to join, and that will keep you motivated to work out so that you can achieve your goal by the end of that challenge. So other things that you could do are like listen to podcasts. So I have a picture. My favorite one is LeVar Burton reads. It's just my favorite. It's LeVar Burton from Reading Rainbow reads adult stories. I mean, not adult stories, but he reads like short fiction. And it's wonderful. So it's a nice way to relax, like if you're just out going for a walk or a jog, or if you're using the rowing machine, or you're just lifting weights. It's kind of a nice, relaxing thing. So maybe you like Serial or any other podcast, Planet Money. There's all kinds of podcasts out there. Listen to a podcast and make it just your workout time, where you listen to that podcast. So you kind of look forward to it, and it's kind of like pairing or piggybacking something that you enjoy on something that's also, hopefully you enjoy and is really good for you. And sometimes there are days when maybe you like exercise, but you don't feel like exercising. But you get to listen to your favorite podcast. Other motivational things that you might like to do are create a space in your office or at home for workouts. You could just leave a yoga mat and a couple of exercise bands and maybe little hand weights in your office. And that way, hopefully when no one's looking, you're doing little exercises. Or clear out a space at somewhere in your home. You don't have to have a whole room devoted to yoga. You just need a space where you can kind of, move like this. You don't have to have a ton of space, but just designing an area in your house or your apartment for exercise can help you get in the right mindset. That's kind of why even after COVID, and I sort of built up my own gym at my house, I do still like going to the gym because once I'm there, I'm like, bam, this is my workout time. I'm here to work out, I'm in, I'm out. I get a great workout and leave. And meanwhile, when I'm in my home gym in my basement, I might think about, okay, the dog needs to go out, I have to empty the cow box, I have to go fold laundry, all kinds of other things might interrupt me. So just getting into a gym sometimes is great, but then like setting up a real gym space to work out in your home could also be very motivating. So after that, try an app. Like, I didn't think that I would like wearables, technology, and now I love them. So I had to learn how to use a Fitbit years ago when I worked with this company that was trying to get people to be more active, and they wanted to sort of do challenges and have an accurate way of tracking people's steps. Not as Big Brother, but so people could see what their activity levels really were. So many fitness apps will not only sort of look at your activity levels, they'll look at, you could, log your calories, they'll come with workouts, programmed into them. They'll keep track of like all of the data from all of your workouts if you want them to, and you can look at it and you can say, oh, look at this, at this time 2 months ago, I couldn't do that. I got this much stronger, I got this much faster, or, that was hard and now I'm doing the same thing and it's really easy. So the fitness apps I think are really great because they're a window into what we're doing, how we're improving, or maybe what we're not doing. There are also just phone apps where you don't have to have a wearable, and you could find maybe Pilates workouts. There's all kinds of trainers that have their own out there now, and they're like varying prices. So you could do those. Choose an app and schedule daily workouts that focus on different fitness goals. So it's really good to not always do the same thing. For instance, maybe you're going to do cardio on Monday and yoga on Tuesday, etc., etc. Like I said, I love the Fitbit. I currently have a Garmin. I gave the Fitbit to my daughter, but sometimes I go back and play with it. I really like them both. They will track, they have GPS on them, they'll track where you are. I think this one, like if something weird starts happening to my heart rate and it thinks that I'm in trouble, it'll call 911 and like tell them where I am. So it's very safe. There's all kinds of great things. And if you don't want the wearable, there's always, like my FitnessPal works with something that'll track your steps, but also will show you your map. There's Nike Run has the same thing. Strava, that app, has the same thing. Strava's really great. I don't think it gets enough credit if you like to do, your cardio outside especially. So it tracks your mileage and it'll kind of show you, this is how many pizza slices you burned off or whatever. So that's really cool. So I kind of went over pretty quickly a lot of ways to sort of maybe tweak your life so that you're more likely to exercise on a regular basis, okay? I didn't necessarily tell you, go watch Rocky IV and then work out, because that is super motivating. Or, play these 4 songs and they will motivate you. Because everybody can't be motivated to be Rocky every day. That's really not sustainable. What we care more about is that you have a habit of exercise, not that you get like 1 or 2 really great workouts in every couple weeks. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for maybe toned down regular activity, right? Regular exercise. So I I've acknowledged that I'm not a normal person. There's a handful of people like me out there. We just like to exercise. We feel crazy if we don't exercise. But I still have to tweak my life so that exercise is easy for me to do, meaning that I have to actually work to say no to doing it. Because I have more than one job. They're kind of busy. I'm a mom. I have a lot of reasons why, and I have in the past. So if you haven't heard me tell you this story already, when I started my grad school the first time, many years ago, I gained like 25 pounds in like, I don't know, a month and a half. It was terrifying. I worked all the time. I was a mom. I was a single mom at the time. And I had always been an athlete. And I ate a lot. And I just thought that I'm an athlete. I'm not gonna gain, I'm fine. Even though I wasn't doing anything athletic and I wasn't exercising. I don't think I exercised in those 2.5 months, maybe a couple times. I told myself my pants were shrinking in the dryer. I don't know why I'm so bloated, all these things. And then I just had to face the fact that, no, my mirror isn't wonky. I've gained this much weight. And I had to learn how to lose it. And fortunately, I was working at that time on a behavioral study. So I just did what we were making these people do. And I managed to tweak my life so that I do the exercise. So here are some of the things that I did that helped me stay motivated. The first thing I do in the morning, if I can work out in the morning, if my schedule permits, that is the best time to do it. You feel good for the rest of the day because you got it over with. You feel good for the rest of the day because your endorphins are out. You've also worked out before breakfast, which means that you burn more calories and set your body up for burning throughout the day. So that was, especially at that time in my life, because I wanted to lose that weight so bad, I did that. So it was also really hard for me to get out of bed first thing in the morning. So I set my alarm clock to some really uplifting music. So for me, at first, I think I started with the Rocky theme song. And then I would move to whatever I felt motivated me. At the time, it was maybe Black Eyed Peas or something. But so you could always, it's much easier now. I don't think we even had those kinds of phones yet. I had to download it and set my computer up to do it. But anyhow, yeah, you could just set your phone up to alarm clock in the morning, some super motivational song that makes you kind of want to exercise. Smells. So smells are highly psychological for us. So I wash my gym clothes only. I don't get to wash my work clothes in it, even though I probably should. I might work harder. But my gym clothes get the super good smelling scent crystals in the laundry so that I want to put them on, so I feel good when I'm exercising. Same thing with the shower. This might sound gross, but I do try to exercise every day, and it's very rare if I don't get some kind of exercise in a day. I don't let myself take a shower until after I exercise. So I do shower daily, but I am not allowed to do it until after I exercise. And then my shower is full of really awesome scrubs and just things that you want to use. And in a shower, nothing feels better than some good cardio and a shower afterwards. That shower is the best shower you ever had. So I get really good stuff in there, so it's a nice treat, after you got all gross and sweaty. Also, really good gear. I think when I started back then, I was really super poor because I was starting grad school, and I used to just wear my old t-shirts and things like that. And as I would hit my goals, or as I would come up, I'd get my paycheck, and I would always spend a little something on maybe really great wicking socks, or a really great workout top that made me feel good. It doesn't, it's not cotton, it's not drenched in sweat. But having good gear, I think, helps a lot, especially if you're going to do a lot of cardio outside. You might want some good rain gear. You might want some really good shoes. You know, that's the kind of investment in myself I think was important to make, because it makes me feel good while I'm doing something that I probably like more than most people, but I don't always love doing it. So it makes me get out there and do it. I already said I work out before breakfast. YouTube, I do have a YouTube workout library, and sometimes when I'm bored and my husband's maybe watching a movie I'm not interested in, I'll go on YouTube and I'll kind of search things that might interest me. So a lot of times I only will have 25 minutes to do something, and there's some great stuff on there. Like sometimes I'll just do Tai Chi, but that still counts as a workout. Sometimes I'll just do yoga, but that still counts as a workout. Bar, I try all kinds of stuff, and I just have a library built up. I do have my road bike on a trainer in the house too, so I can ride my bike. And there's all kinds of spinning videos too, so you could always do that. You don't have to necessarily go buy Peloton. Like a trainer, it's like, depending on what you want to get, could only be maybe $100. So it's kind of a nice thing to have. And your back tire just spins on it. So I have, that library going for me. So I could always switch it up if I'm just not in the mood for something that I usually do. And it's something I'm thinking about when I'm not doing anything else. And I can, keep adding not only to maybe my music playlist, but also my workout YouTube playlist. I'm currently doing these really cool race. It's not a race, it's a challenge. So we talked about challenges. And so this, I'm not even sure, I think this is like a European company, but they're online and they're called the Conqueror Events. And they have this really cool virtual mileage challenge. And you could pick whatever you want, and once you pay for it, it's like $35 for a challenge. Once you pay for it, you can finish it in a year, 2 years, it doesn't matter. But every time you hit a checkpoint, you get like a virtual postcard. It unlocks like videos and pictures from this place. So the first one I did was Mount Fuji. It was really cool, and you get these beautiful medals that look just like you did some, like big race. And you could track your time and stuff like that if you care about that too. But I find super motivating because somebody else is looking at my mileage and I'm looking at it, and it makes me maybe more likely to go out and jog than not. So that's really nice. Other things you can do that I did were to set goals for activities. So my smartwatch will remind me every hour if I haven't done 200 steps, and that makes me get out of my seat and move around. Social media. I also use the sort of Garmin social media, and I use my bike trainer. I also use something called Zwift. So there's a whole group of people on there, and everybody talks to each other, and that's really fun too, because you get to talk to each other while you're riding and stuff like that. So it's really nice, and you can kind of, just forge friendships around things like exercise. So that's my personal sort of history, how I was able to go from like really working a lot, being kind of stressed, single mom. I hate to even let this come out of my mouth, but I needed to lose weight. It was hard, and I had to sort of figure out how to rearrange things with a busy schedule. And fortunately, like, my life revolves around, exercise and nutrition. That was my research. So I kind of had to make it work. Otherwise, I don't think anybody would take me seriously. But that's at least my story, and I know it's probably easier for someone like me than a lot of other people. But those are the tools that you have, and I'd love to hear about your experiences as well. What works for you, because I don't necessarily have all the answers. So that was motivation to exercise, and I hope now you can find your motivation.